I don't want to hang out with that loser for Christmas. While putting up the Christmas lights, I couldn't open the garden window because I was frozen. The voice of my sister Odessa was very clear. Mom should cut her off and make her pay for the repairs. It looks bad to call her family. When we told our mother Martha, "We're already working on it, and all of our inheritance will go to you," she laughed. "I'm pretending to be a little contractor and she'll never find a husband," they said. My heart was pounding as I finished putting up the lights. She'll just die alone and lonely. When I walked in the room, Mom would hide her phone screen, whisper on the phone, and look at Odessa in a way that made my stomach turn. You get a sixth sense for these things after being a daughter for 34 years. When I thought about it, I had devoted 34 years to my family because I was single and didn't have to worry about money. I paid for family trips, Mom's treats, and home improvements. Suddenly, everything looked crooked and bad under the lights I had lovingly hung. It had to be perfect for my family to like me, so I spent the morning hanging lights, setting up decorations, and making a feast. The prime rib was marinated for 3 days, and I baked cookies from scratch. But right away, I lost any small hope that they might accept me this year. I then felt like something solidified inside me. That's when I decided to get back the time, money, and self that my family had taken away from me. I didn't scream or argue with them. Instead, I took a deep breath, stepped back, and put on the most convincing smile of my life. Something wasn't right about my mother the week before the Christmas party. She wasn't angry like she usually is when I bring sawdust onto her clean floors. This was different. She had been very tense lately, criticizing my every move, but I thought it was just holiday stress. That day, everyone was at home for the Christmas party. My dad, my sister Odessa, and her husband Bruce. My dad was very impressed with the renovations right away, and Bruce started asking me snide questions about my business finances in that cocky lawyer way that made me feel sick to my stomach. After college, I started a construction company with just a few tools and a lot of drive. Now I'm in charge of 5 crews. It's not flashy, but it pays well. My mom never liked that I chose a career that wasn't feminine. My dad, Ryan, an economics professor, always gave me condescending advice about my business. Odessa and her lawyer husband seemed to think she got her status by being around lawyers. They always thought I should do better. They were always making fun of my cute little business and asking when I'd get a real job. The Christmas party was ready on time, but the conversation I overheard between my mother and sister stuck with me, making dinner feel like I wasn't in my body. I filled wine glasses, served prime rib, laughed at my father's dull academic jokes, and watched my mother, this beautiful stranger, talk to me as if she hadn't broken my heart. As dinner was over and night fell, Mom started cleaning while softly humming Christmas carols, as if she hadn't just broken my heart. I told her to take a break, and I finished the cleaning myself. She tapped me on the cheek and said, "What a good daughter you are." That lie burned like acid in my throat. After she went to bed, I checked her laptop. She usually didn't use password protection, but I knew her habits, so I was able to get in on the 3rd try and found emails from over a year ago between her and Odessa's husband, Bruce. The plan was clear. They were waiting for the major renovations to be finished before finalizing the inheritance transfer to Odessa and then kicking me out. The spreadsheet showed my assets, the cost of repairs, and even a timeline for getting rid of me. It also showed that Mom had been transferring the money I gave for family vacations into a secret account for years, using amounts that were small enough that no one would have noticed. The $20,000 I had given for family vacations was gone in an instant. Then I found messages from someone saved as V. In the end, I found out his name was Brant. He wasn't just a friend of hers. Reading the messages made it clear that he was her secret partner. The messages went back years and years of lying, and the money seemed to be used to support their relationship. I knew this the whole night, so I couldn't sleep. The next day, I skipped work and met with a lawyer while my family was out. I told them everything and showed them the proof I had gathered. Legally, I had paid for the whole renovation, but the original deed was still in their names. That wasn't enough proof, though, because everything I had built and everything I had given up was about to be given to them. I asked numbly, "So, I should just let them take it?" The lawyer talked about negotiations and getting the family back together, but I was already putting up new defenses in my mind. Inside me, something very basic had changed. In hindsight, my family had always thought I wasn't good enough. They thought I was simple because I was wearing work boots and didn't have a college degree. It was never clear to them that starting from scratch takes smarts, planning, and a strong will. I made up my mind the next morning. I did something as soon as everyone left. In the living room and kitchen, I put in small recorders. I broke moral rules with my family that I never thought I would have to. I put a camera in Mom's room too. As if nothing had changed, I baked cookies in the background once everything was set up. As I gathered colorful pine cones and talked with neighbors about holiday plans, I couldn't help but think about the betrayal going on inside my home. Mom seemed surprisingly busy at dinner that night. She kept looking at her phone the whole time. When I asked her about her day, she didn't say much. I caught a glimpse of a name when her phone rang again. I asked her nicely, "Who's Brant?" while giving her the potatoes. For a split second, her hand was frozen. "Oh, just a client for financial planning. Finish with the tax questions." Then she turned her phone over so that the back was facing down. That small pause said a lot. When you've been with someone for 30 years, you know their tells. I kept my smile on my face and said, "Must be important messaging during family dinner." She gave a shaky smile. Some people just don't know the lines between work and personal life. I almost choked on the hypocrisy. She said she had to do some work after dinner and then went into the study. Making a lot of noise while cleaning made her think I was busy. I then moved quietly to the hallway near the door that was only slightly open. Her voice came out soft and personal. It wasn't her business tone, or the voice of a mother. I had never heard that before. "I can't call you whenever I want." "Yes, just a little longer." "Yes, I also miss you very much." Every word that was whispered killed family trust one more time. My mother's affair was getting all the money I gave her. The anger I had been keeping back was about to flow out. I really wanted to break in, talk to her, and stop the act right then. But that would have ruined the well-thought-out plan I had made. So I quietly pulled away. I went back to the kitchen. While I worked on my plan, I turned on the machine and pretended to make more cookie dough. During the next few weeks, I kept looking into things and found that Brant and my mother had been close for years. It became clear what the plan was. It wasn't just a night out. It was a planned lie that went on for 10 years. As I was gathering evidence, I also made a detailed spreadsheet that listed every dollar I had spent on the family house. Things for the renovation, payments to the contractor, design fees, handmade furniture I made myself, and the landscaping she wanted for the perfect backyard for parties. A total of $57,450. My mom asked me that night to help her plan Odessa's birthday party for next month. I went along with it and made ideas as she asked, but all I felt was empty distance while she pretended to care about what I had to say. After everyone went to bed that night, I sat in my workshop by myself and thought about everything as I watched the sawdust fly around. For how long had our family been a lie? Was I ever really their daughter, or was I just an easy-to-reach ATM? Was I just a short-term resource? The first pieces of proof from the recording devices started to come in on Thursday afternoon. Odessa showed up out of the blue and was talking quietly with my mom in the living room. The recording showed them talking about me when I got home from work. As Odessa put it, Bruce finished the papers. The legal reason for cutting her out is strong now that the repairs are done. The mom lowered her tone. "Is this really important?"
"She's my kid,"
Odessa responded. "But you said it yourself. You don't want to spend Christmas with that jerk. She should pay for the repairs and then be let go. A woman who works in building. That would be too embarrassing." Mom let out a heavy sigh. "That's right. It's already being worked on. And I'm going to leave you all of my fortune. The plan with Brant is still on hold. Ryan doesn't think anything is wrong. As soon as the transfer of the item is done, what are you going to say to your dad? It won't bother him. He hasn't talked to me in years. We're just two people living together. Brant and I are beginning a new life together. I need to hurry up." Odessa laughed. "Ellen doesn't get anything. Nothing. Let her go her own way with her cute little friend." As I listened to the recording, my hands were shaking. I had only heard the first discussion by chance, but now I could see their whole plan. I had to keep what I had made safe. That evening, I started my final plan. Under the guise of making important choices about the estate, I planned a family financial meeting for the day of Odessa's birthday party. Everything went just as planned. I finished setting up the party the morning of it. I got the dining room ready by hiding papers next to my seat. All the proof, like recordings, bank records, and property papers, was put on a tablet. The nicest china had already been set out by my mom. She looked uncomfortable and kept looking at her phone. For maximum clarity, I practiced the presentation, the exact order of the facts, and the times of each revelation. In a strange way, it felt like I was getting ready for the biggest project bit of my career. Instead of my work shoes, I wore a tailored blazer, a clean white shirt, and boots that looked like they were made for the job. An outfit for their daughter to wear on her last day. I could hear my mom talking on the phone while I was going up the stairs. The recorder in the living room let me listen to the talk again if I needed to. But I already knew who her partner was and what their plan was. Let her enjoy these made-up last moments of power. She should tell Brant that everything is going as planned. Let her think that these last hours are proof that she was really killed. The doorbell went off. Mom sped up and quickly ended the call. As usual, Dad was the first one home from work, bringing a pricey bottle of wine. Soon after, Odessa and Bruce showed up. Everyone involved was there, and they all played a part in my carefully planned reveal, without realizing it. Mom's phone lit up in her pocket as we walked toward the eating area. Brant's name flashed across the screen before she could turn it off. I sat at the head of the table and put the evidence folder next to my plate. My mom was to my right, and my dad was to my left. The story was up to me. As my dad talked about which wine to buy, I stood up and raised my glass. The chat ended right away. Before I smiled at my mom, I smiled at everyone else in the family. I raised my glass and said, "Before we celebrate Christmas tonight, I'd like to toast to family, loyalty, and finally admitting the truth beneath our beautiful renovation." Their confused looks were just the beginning. They and their mom didn't know what was going to happen. I took a calm sip of my dad's pricey wine. Now, I went on, taking out the tablet. I found a major problem that puts everything I've made at risk. There is a problem that is slowly destroying our family. Dad leaned in and looked down his nose at her. Budget limits and cash flow issues. I've always said that your building company didn't do enough research before starting up. In fact, I said, hooking up the tablet to the big screen. It's not my business what's wrong. It's our family. It became very quiet in the room. Mom's hand got cold on mine. "Ellen," she said in a tense whisper, "what do you have planned?" That is when I played the tape of her and Odessa. Their words could be heard all through the newly remodeled dining room. Odessa telling me I needed to be cut off after paying for the makeover and calling my job as a builder embarrassing. Mom said that the process had already started, and Bruce said that they could even take the house. I stopped the music there. I paid close attention to every response. Odessa turned white. Dad's face scrunched up in confusion. Bruce sat up and became protective, and Mom stayed still as she watched her carefully planned life fall apart like a badly built house. Next, I showed screenshots of her texts that clearly showed Brant's bad behavior, though he had been removed to protect his honor. I purposely didn't say his name. I said with quiet strength, "For 10 years. 10 years of lying while I worked 70 weeks fixing up our family house." I looked at my dad. "Did you know that Mom was seeing someone else? Did you know that I was going to be kicked out when the repairs were done?" Dad was shocked. "I showed you the full list. Every dollar I put into the family home added up to $57,450. I said strongly, "This is what I gave to our family while starting my business from scratch." Next picture. There are proof that family holiday money was stolen and plans to keep me from getting the inheritance. I told them that this was the prize for their loyalty. The quiet made my body hurt. Then all of a sudden, my dad got up, pushing his chair backward. "This is terrible, Martha. What does this really mean?" Right away, my mom grabbed my wrist. "Ellen, you don't understand anything." Bruce, who is always smart, started to delete files from his phone while it was hidden under the table. I pointed right at him. You already have a copy of the files you want to delete. For every hour you told them how to get rid of me. Bruce stopped and looked at Odessa. My mom changed her plan. It wasn't what you think, she begged, letting tears come out on purpose. There's a mistake here. I said it again and again, shocked. A misunderstanding. Working for your entertainment. I wasn't planning to lose my cool while I was making money to fix up your dream kitchen, but something inside me broke. My voice dropped as I said, for 34 years. I believed in this family for 34 years, but I was just an easy way to get cash. Then I showed another piece of evidence, a message between Brant's mother and himself, with the subject line, New life plan after renovation. There were notes, and now is the best time to tell our. For Ryan. After getting money from Elin, your partner is Brant, who works for your dad, right? There was no sound in the room at all. You want to start a new life with Brant after the renovations are done. Hold on, Dad. Leave me out of the will. Give Odessa everything you have. The color of Mother's face changed greatly. You looked into him? Yes. I also had coffee with his wife. I believed she had the right to know about your connection. Brant is my best friend from college, and we've been friends for 30 years. Dad's voice was cold. Mother couldn't say anything. How long has this been going on? Please answer. Father yelled and then smashed the last glass on the table against the floor. How long have you been lying to me about Brant? Ryan, please. He looked all over the room. Was it all for him that they fixed everything up? Ellen gave you money, so you could live with him. You stole her money, and I lost my house. He was so angry that his face turned red, and his hands were so tight that his knuckles turned white. You've been married for 34 years, and this is how you repay me. His voice was lower, but it was more dangerous, my friend and coworker. I was working with him while you were making plans for this. The mother was sad. You never paid attention to me, your work, or your studies. And how does that make this okay? Father's voice was shaking. In what way does any of this make sense? You lied to everyone in the family. You lied to me. Worst of all, you lied to your own daughter. That's when he went off. He grabbed the edge of my custom-made dinner table and threw it over very hard. Glass, food, and wine all fell to the ground. Mom screamed. Odessa let out a gasp. Bruce took a step back. I sat still and felt strangely calm as I watched decades of family myths fall apart around me. Ellen, please, we need to talk about this privately. This wasn't supposed to happen. Mother begged over and over again. I shook my head firmly. How exactly were you going to steal my assets? Keep having an affair with your dad's ex-girlfriend while claiming everything I built. There's no more to talk about. I went to the front door and threw it open. The party is over. Leave now. I led my sister and brother-in-law outside after my dad left on his own. We were the only ones left in the mess of our family dinner after that. Her voice was very low as she asked, "Where will you go?" "I have already arranged for lodging," I answered. "I'll come back tomorrow to get my gear." "You planned this whole reveal," she whispered in shock. I said as I put together my overnight bag, "I learned how to plan strategically by watching you." As soon as I stepped outside, she yelled out in pain. "I feel bad about this." I didn't pay attention to her. I finally got a good night's sleep in days that night in a hotel room. While everyone was out the next day, I went back to the house and got the important things: tools, equipment, business files, and personal photos. I also left an extra key on the workbench I had built. I had already rented a lovely apartment close to work. I wasn't hiding, I was just making rules. I didn't use social media or answer any non-essential messages for 2 weeks while I set up the new place. My work quickly helped me feel better. Building had always been my real home. I finally checked my messages and saw that my mother had sent me 14 texts that got more and more desperate. They ranged from pure anger to begging. In the beginning, she only showed anger. "How could you make me look bad in front of everyone? And you broke up this family." Over time, her tone changed to sound like she was sorry. "Ellen, please answer. Let's talk. I know mistakes were made, but families get through it." The last message came next. Brant just called to end it. He's trying to make things right with his wife. I no longer have anyone. I didn't feel anything when I read the messages, just tiredness, not success or justification, just emptiness. It would be like ending a huge renovation only to have the client complain about the color of the paint. "I've already filed for a restraining order," I finally said. She replied right away, "All I want is to be completely separated from this family. Please don't call. Just a single talk." I sent one last message to my mom. "There's no more to talk about. We are no longer together. From now on, all communications must go through my lawyer." After that, I blocked her call. At the end of that week, Odessa sent a word. "Ellen, I'm so sorry. I'm just as bad as my mom was for letting it happen. What I said that night, I can't take back. We're still family though, right? Let's talk, please. Bruce says that he can help your business if you need legal help." Right away, I sent her message to my lawyer. The next day, papers were sent in for protection orders against Bruce and my sister. After that night, my dad called a lawyer. He did his own research and found that Martha and Brant had, in fact, been having an affair. He was broken up by how deeply she had lied to him and how she had planned to leave him. He wanted to talk about changing his will and how his wealth would be divided. "He is thinking about giving you the whole fortune." The lawyer said that he is going to leave Odessa out of everything. I told them that wasn't necessary. "No, he won't give up." The lawyer went on. "He thinks it's fair. He is sure this is the right thing to do now that he knows how big Martha and Brant's plan was and how involved Odessa really was." I got off the phone with the lawyer and found a message from my dad. "Please excuse my lack of knowledge. I didn't see for too long. I'll fix it now. You'll get everything I own. The only person who has been honest is you." I agreed to meet my dad for lunch after we had made up and both understood how deceitful things had been between us. 3 months went by. My new house was great. I could see the lake from the deck of my large condo. And I worked late into the night drawing plans in a corner of the living room. Even though it was lonely at times, it was much better than the fake relationships I had left behind. I started getting together with my dad, once a month. A new life was also important to him. He was no longer working, lived in a small town, and began teaching part-time at a nearby college. Our relationship was slowly but carefully getting better. We didn't talk about the family. We instead talked about what would happen. I started taking measurements for a new design job one night. Sunlight came in through the window and lit up my work area. This is what I would have said if someone had asked me what I was measuring. It's not just the size of the room, it's also the chances of a new life.